Good evening. We are here live with you in East London. It's the ILFL Soccer Night show. We are back again. The weather tried to spoil our football yesterday, but we managed to get a few games on, although the weather did spoil the cameraman's here. So we don't have any footage for you, but what we do have is we have 4 guests in the studio. And the first to my left is the ever-present statsman, Mr. Nanu Mir. Good evening, Nanu. Good evening. And we also have the stars of the ILFL league, the Walthamstow Red Stars. In fact, I have 3 of their own stars in the studio to discuss all things Walthamstow, second division, and how they're going to upset everybody above them in the league. But first, what we're going to talk about, Nanu, is the fact that the Vets League is back and kicked off last week. How did you see it going?
Absolutely fantastic. You know, it couldn't have gone any smoother than it actually did. All 3 divisions started very nicely. Some exciting results as well, which I'm not going to spoil it for you, David.
Because we're going to talk a little bit later about those as well. Results, yeah. The new teams started quite brightly as well.
They have started quite brightly, and I have to say I'm very impressed with them. The display that they showed, you know, it was amazing, you know, and overall, all the new teams really enjoyed it, and they couldn't believe how much entertaining it was. So that's always a positive thing.
Like we said, we will talk about what happened in the Vets League last Monday and last Thursday, and the fact that we've got fixtures happening tonight and this Thursday as well. But first, let me turn to my guests. We have 3 of them in the studio, and I know they've all got plenty to say about their team. They are Walthamstow Red Star, a new team in the Inner London Football League this season, going very well, unbeaten bar 1 game, a game we probably won't talk about, but no matter, they're doing well in their second division. I'll turn to the club manager. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. I'm club secretary.
Club secretary. You know what? I've just promoted you. Don't worry.
Well,
the club manager may come in and have to say, oh, you demoted yourself.
I did, yeah.
To give the glory to others.
I was management for a little while, for about 7-8 years, and then I wanted to extend my playing days.
Okay, so and is that going quite successfully?
It is, yeah. I mean, I'm 40 now, so I'm kind of still playing, still trying to match the youngsters. That
was a great link from Vets League to ILFL.
Yes, exactly.
So introduce the 2 guys that you brought in here today.
Right, so I've got, to my right, I've got Hamza Hussain, who's our central attacking midfielder. He's our youngest player, I think, at 16.
You look like almost the youngest player as well. Welcome to the show. And at this end?
And at that end is Alex Cruikshank. He's our striker, who's 21.
I think you mean 20.
20.
20
okay.
Sorry,
he's adding years.
Adding on years, yeah.
And doing very well, Alex. How are you finding the division and the league in general?
Really and truly, I find it's a good challenge, really. You come up against different teams, different opposition every single week. It's all about testing yourself against different opposition. But I find it in a sense where it's good that I have the people that I have around me, the players that I have around me, where in a sense that everyone can flourish. Everyone can show off their talents, their abilities. And really and truly, when it's like you come down to play football, it's like at the end of the day, you're enjoying it, but you're still getting a challenge out of it, which is really and truly the best thing.
I have to talk about the fact that I saw you guys, I think I've seen you guys 2 or 3 times this season, but the one where I really got to have the best seat in the house was the cup game you had against London Tigers. Great game. And you yourself had a great game there. I mean, how was that for you as a challenge? Those are the kind of games that you relish, isn't it, as a forward?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I really enjoyed that game. I mean, I came off the pitch saying it's one of the best 90 minutes I've ever had. I couldn't stop telling people that. It's more a sense where you're in a battle in a sense, but it's not just like a physical battle. It's just as in both teams have got like intelligent players as well. I mean, they had a couple of their centre midfielders that knew how to pass and knew how to string passes along. But in a sense, it was just like one of those games you just enjoy. I mean, it wasn't like the sun was beating down on the pitch. I mean, it was raining a bit.
It was a proper cup.
Basically,
yeah, it was one of those days. The wind wasn't great and everything, but we'll talk a little bit more about that and what they did or didn't do in the cup. They are still in 1, they're still flying high in the division, but there were 2 cup games that took place. They are League Cup games, sponsored by Tower Hamlets Homes, no less, that had to be completed and fulfilled. These are games that was supposed to be finished before the Christmas. They managed to survive the weather. Here they are on your screen now, the 2 fixtures that took place. The results of those were that Ace beat Bromley by 4-1, and Lotus beat Sire by 8-1. And Nana, I just want to run that one by you quickly. That was First Division versus Prem there, but are we really surprised that Ace did what they did to Bromley?
Not really, no. I think Ace had some advantage, as in an element of surprise. You see, what Bromley haven't done is they haven't changed the team quite significantly. And Ace have played in this league previously and know what Bromley are made of. So, and the absence that they've had for a couple of seasons, they've managed to attract new players and restructured the team. Although they haven't seen that many successes in the winter campaign, Ace is still a formidable team and they are well prepared. It's one of those teams that come in with a lot of players and the players that want to play football and enjoy what they do as well. So I'm not actually that surprised that Ace beat Bromley. It's just that Bromley wasn't strong enough, or they haven't made the changes that they should have made.
Maybe so. They join a whole host of teams in the next round of the Cup, and there is still one more Cup fixture to be completed, and that takes place this Sunday. It is Crusaders versus Leytonstone, another First Division side up against Premiership. Almost shouldn't say Premiership, should I? I should just say Premier Division. But what are we saying about that? Is that another potential upset that we're looking at?
I don't know. I mean, you look at Leytonstone, they've been
struggling. It always depends on who turns up with a Leytonstone, isn't it?
Within the division, they've been struggling. In the cup games, they've seen some successes, and what they usually do is, in those cup games, they bring in reinforcements. You know, they have abundance of players. You know, they have senior teams. You know, playing in senior divisions, and they have access to that. You know, that pool of resources, so they can drag in a lot of players. But unfortunately, I don't think we've seen that this season. It might be becoming a little bit too difficult for them more recently, because what you have to see is that ILFL, every season it gets stronger and stronger, and if teams don't keep up with that pace, then they're just going to fall behind. You know, we've had the likes of Reach Out coming in, we've had Lotus coming in, more recently we've had Western coming in as well. You know, those are new teams, and those teams are really strong teams. And what they've actually done is they've enhanced the divisions, the leagues altogether, and they've made some of the other teams like Beaumont, Stepney, even London Tigers say, well, what's going on here? You know, these teams are new and they're coming in and they're winning games. You know, we need to step up, and this is what they've been doing.
It is true, very, very true. Although we have to say that even still standing in the League Cup, it was unfortunate that Red Star didn't survive, but there is another second division side still in the Cup, and that is Redcoat, who will be the sole remaining survivor from the second division in the League Cup. You guys have come up against them already, Redcoat. What was that?
I think it was the second game we played, I think, and they were leading up until the last sort of 5 minutes. Our first two games were quite interesting, actually, because there was obviously something new for us. And both those games, against West End Reserves and against Redcoat, we were actually losing both of those games. And it was only until the last sort of 5-10 minutes where we turned them around. And like literally, I think against Redcoat, we scored sort of 3-4 goals in the last sort of fight, in a really short space of time. But they are a very good side. They've got a couple of good players.
In the same way that you've said that maybe, you know, it was new to you, came into the league, came into the division, didn't know it was right, you had to hit the ground running, kind of had to wake up within your first couple of games. In the same way, we kind of get the feeling that Red Star, by doing what they've done, have given a boot up the rear end to a lot of the teams in the division, and they thought, well, hang on, there's a team that's coming here, 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, we need to really focus on what we're doing. And they're now chasing now, they're beginning to chase, so we're beginning to see that now in the division.
Absolutely. I mean, we, as I said, we kind of got used to the first few couple of games, and then we kind of got to the paces. I mean, Arsenal, all these teams, they gave us, good games. There was individual players. But I think the difference was really that we were just a bit better in terms of a team. We played better as a whole team, and I think that's what really. And then some of the results have, have even surprised us, to be honest. That where we've kind of really imposed our authority. Well,
sometimes we'd be sitting here and we'd be looking and we're saying, yes, this was a 2-1, yes, it was a 3-2, Walthamstow Red Star 11, and stuff like that. And we were looking and thinking, well, at first, is there a competitive edge to some of your games? But people were coming in and they were saying, yeah, for the first 50, 60 minutes, it was a game of football, and then all of a sudden, it just clicks for you.
Yeah, I think we've thankfully got a strong back line. who've always held it strong. You know, they're kind of composed, they're confident on the ball, but our attacking threat is really good. And you know, there's not one player who's really, you know, sort of leading the way in terms of goal scoring. It is really an all-round effort. You know, we've got midfielders who can score, we've got wingers who can score, and I think that's, you know, I mean, primary example against London Tigers, you know, Alex ran his heart out, done some amazing work, but it was actually our right winger who
played, I have to say, he played really well.
He's brilliant. He's been brilliant, and he's a new signing. And you know, we've been blessed that we've got a few new signings that have really sort of supported the team and made the team a whole lot better in terms of what we've got in the afternoon as a team.
Have you had a game since that Tigers game? Have you played?
No, I don't think we have. No, because of the
because
of the weather and Christmas break. No,
you've had no opportunity to kind of. Well, you've got it out of your system, but you've had no opportunity to come and just move on to the next game and put it all in place. What you may have learnt from that Tigers game.
Well, I think in terms of the team, I think our St Catherine's game was a real eye-opener for us, because that kind of gave us a point where we were possibly not playing against the best side, but I think we defeated ourselves in that game, because I think we were complacent the way we turned up. We didn't really give it the right approach. And St Catherine's sort of blew us away in the first half, and we were playing catch-up, even though the weather had a part to play, but we know next time we won't be taking them lightly.
Well, that's the game, and that is the game that's going to mean something to the two of you, isn't it? I mean, it could be the one. I mean, we never know. Somebody else might jump up and do something.
I still think Redcoat have got part to play, and AMY as well. I think they can pull off the odd results as well.
Well, now that you've mentioned them, I mean, we've said on this show once or twice before that AMY, you kind of think, they're a decent team, they could do something, but then they just don't quite get over the line with results.
I think they defend really well as a team. They're a strong unit in the middle, at the back, but I just think in terms of goal scoring, I think they had a couple of chances against us, but they just didn't put the ball away. And then after that, I mean, it was a close game. I think we only beat them 3-0 or something like that. It wasn't a, you know,
I mean, I saw them against West Ham Reserve, and it was one of the better 1-1 draws. It was 0-0 for like 70, 80 minutes. It was a really competitive game. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And then AMY took the lead, went up 1-0, and then they conceded one right at the back end. But it was a thoroughly entertaining game. Listen, we're going to talk some more about yourselves, the rest of the teams. There were some other results that took, games that took place yesterday. Not many. But there were a few. There were a couple of games that took part in the first division. Here they are on your screen for you right now. Burdett beating Stepney B by 3-1. Methinks that's a little bit surprising. I would have thought Stepney B would have kicked on from some of their good form. Seoul Youth still chasing the Crusaders at the top of the first division, beating Bow by 3-1. Nanu, just very quickly before we go to the break. Seoul Youth really are the only team that are chasing now Crusaders at the first division. I can't see Robin Hood Tigers coming into it.
I can't see it as well.
Seoul Youth, do they have a realistic chance of catching Crusaders?
They do. I mean, although they've played 2 extra games and they're on the same points as Crusaders, I think they still do have a chance. You know, I mean, if you look at the table, it pretty much looks like a 2-horse race now. You know, it's Crusaders versus Seoul Youth, and it's those teams. It's one of those teams are going to get there. Which one is going to get there? We don't know. I mean, it's still the season's long. You know, teams have still got to play 7, 8, 9 games, and there's a lot of points to be taken from those games.
Just cut football in between to upset the flow.
Yeah, it's usually the second half. You know, the first half doesn't always, you know, give you an indication what the second half is going to look like. Because what teams would do is in the first half, if they can't win some of the games, then they'll be looking at analysing the mistakes that they have made. So if they learn anything from those mistakes and try and turn things around, I mean, I can see Seoul, one of those teams that could do that. Yeah, they could really do that. With Crusaders, I mean, they're way up there, and if they flinch now, even for one game and they lose a game, they'll be under pressure straight away, and you know, Seoul will be just right behind them, waiting to snap that top position from them.
They will indeed. Listen, we've got to take a break. We've got another result from yesterday to talk about the divisions, the rest of the Vets League, and we can still talk to these boys because they'll still be here. We'll be right back after this short break.